Fear often functions as a protective mechanism that helps signal potential danger, but it can also hinder our ability to pursue goals or lead fulfilling lives when it becomes overwhelming or pervasive. This guide explores the nature of fear, its psychological implications, and how these impacts our interactions with the world around us. We will carry out a reflective self-examinations that is aimed at identifying our personal fears, understand its sources, and learn practical strategies we can implement to manage and overcome them. On the agenda today, we will go over the objectives of the course. Define fear and learn the different types of fear. Understand the difference between fear and phobia. Look at how fear of the unknown influences our decisions. Learn how our religious beliefs shapes our views on fear. Understand the role of education in managing our fears. And learn the tools to overcoming fear. By the end of this course, we will have a clearer understanding of fear. Know how to identify our personal fears and how this knowledge can empower us. And learn cognitive and actionable behavioral strategies to manage fears. For inspiration, here is the quote of the day. To get started, let's review some reflective prompts. Have your journals out, feel free to pause the video and take a few minutes to reflect on these questions and write down your answers. Remember to be as honest with yourself as possible. Don't forget to like this video and share your response in the comments below. What would you consider to be your greatest fear? And what beliefs do you hold that contributes to this fear? Is this belief based on facts or assumption? Fear is simply an emotional response to perceived threats or danger that is characterized by feelings of apprehension, anxiety, and a sense of loss of control. It can manifest itself in various forms. From specific phobias such as fear of heights or spiders, to more generalized feelings of unease when thinking about one's future. It can also serve a protective function that alerts us to potential harm and prompting appropriate action such as avoidance or escape. While this may be a life-saving response, fear that becomes chronic or disproportionate to the actual threat can hinder our personal growth, decision-making, and overall well-being. By facing our fears, we can help build courage, confidence, and a growth mindset. This process encourages personal exploration and the willingness to step outside comfort zones. Additionally, mastering our fears enables us to make more rational decisions, enhances problem-solving skills, and improve interpersonal relationships by reducing anxiety-driven reactions. The goal of this course is not to eliminate fear, but to better understand its origins, triggers, and the physiological response it elicits, and how this knowledge can help empower us to confront and manage it more effectively. Understanding different kinds of fear helps us respond better and find ways to overcome them. Here are some common types: existential fears. These fears relate to fundamental questions about life, death, and the universe. We all struggle with concerns about the meaning of life or what happens after death. Fear of failure. This fear comes from believing failure means losing value or respect. It often stops us from chasing goals or trying new things. Fear of rejection, the worry of being turned away or disapproved of, whether in relationships, work, or social settings. It can lead us to avoid opportunities. Social anxiety. The fear of being judged or embarrassed in social situations, like speaking in public or meeting new people. This can cause withdrawal or isolation. Fear of change. Change brings uncertainty. This fear shows up as resisting new jobs, moves, or life transitions because the unknown feels risky. Other fears include fear of intimacy, worry about getting close to others. Often comes from past hurt or loss, so people keep emotional distance to protect themselves. Fear of loss, fear of losing loved ones, possessions, or status. This can create constant anxiety and shape how we attach or cope. Phobias, strong, irrational fears of specific things or situations, like spiders, tight spaces, or heights. They can disrupt daily life. Fatalistic fears. Belief that bad outcomes are inevitable or out of your control. This can cause helplessness and stop you from trying. Fear of the unknown, anxiety about uncertainty, about the future, big changes, or global issues. It makes new situations feel risky. With all of these in mind, what would you consider to be your biggest fear? How has it hindered your personal growth, and have you tried taking any steps to deal with it? Fear and phobia, while often used interchangeably in casual conversation, are distinct phenomena with important differences. Understanding these differences can promote a more effective approach to managing our emotional responses. Fear is a natural response to a perceived threat that triggers the fight or flight mechanism, preparing the body to either face danger or escape from it. For example, feeling fear when encountering a wild animal or during a sudden loud sound is a normal reaction that can help protect an individual from harm. Fear can be rational and situational, usually subsiding once the threat is removed. Phobia, on the other hand, is an intense and irrational fear of a specific object, situation, or activity that leads to avoidance behavior. Phobias often provoke anxiety that is greater than what is actually at stake. For instance, someone with a phobia of spiders, arachnophobia, may experience severe distress at the mere thought of a spider, leading them to avoid places where they might encounter one, even if the actual risk is very small. Phobias can be classified into two main types: specific phobias, which focus on a particular object or situation like heights or flying, and social phobia, which involves a fear of social situations and the scrutiny of others. These deeply ingrained fears can significantly impact a person's daily life, limiting their activities, interactions, and opportunities. Key differences between fear and phobia. Origins. Fear is often based on real external threats, while phobia emerges from irrational fears that are disconnected from actual danger. Duration. Fear typically lasts only as long as the threat exists, whereas phobias can persist long-term and lead to chronic anxiety. Functionality. Fear can enhance survival and safety, guiding us to make prudent choices. Phobias, conversely, may hinder functioning and quality of life. There is a lot in the world we don't understand. When we face something new or strange, we often feel afraid. Until it feels familiar, we might avoid or even harm it. Fear of the unknown is natural and part of being human. It affects how we act, make choices, and relate to others. Unfortunately, this fear can hold us back and often stops us from growing or exploring. Biologically, fear of the unknown comes from our evolution. Early humans dealt with many dangers in new places, like predators, lack of food, or enemies. This made them instinctively wary of anything unfamiliar. This cautious way of thinking is built into our DNA. Although many real dangers have lessened or disappeared today, fear of the unknown remains, often causing anxiety and stress. For example, people might avoid new jobs because they fear leaving the stability of a familiar position. Fear of the unknown makes it hard to see what will happen next. Because of this, people stick to what they know, even if it hurts them, instead of trying new things where they could grow and find new chances. This fear stops people and societies from embracing change and progressing. Managing fear of the unknown. To manage our fear of the unknown effectively, consider the following approaches. Embrace curiosity over fear. Reframing uncertainty as an opportunity to learn or grow can reduce anxiety. Ask questions and seek information to replace vague fears with specific knowledge. Focus on what you can control. While the future may be uncertain, many present actions remain within your influence. Concentrate on steps you can take now, rather than fixate on unpredictable outcomes. Practice mindfulness and acceptance. Mindfulness helps you focus on the present, stopping worries about the future. Acceptance means recognizing uncertainty without fighting it and not giving up. Take incremental risks. Gradually exposing yourself to unfamiliar situations builds resilience and confidence. Small successes in the face of unknowns can diminish fear over time. Develop a support system. Sharing concerns with trusted individuals can provide perspective and reassurance when facing uncertain circumstances. Ultimately, the fear of the unknown should not be seen as an obstacle, but a natural response that, when managed thoughtfully, can lead to personal growth and new opportunities. Cultivating a mindset that tolerates uncertainty equips us with the ability to navigate life's inevitable changes with resilience and purpose. So, what fears do you hold that you are ready to let go of? Share with us in the comments below. Religion thrives because of the air of mystery around it. It generally does not encourage asking questions or allow exploration, and often stresses the fact that the human mind cannot fathom the things of the divine deity, and as such, to live in fear rather than seek explanations for unknown concepts. Fear is also often rooted in the perceived threats from other belief systems, which can lead to varying responses within religious groups. It can also be used as a tool for control or as a means of social cohesion. Many religions use fear as a tool for moral behavior. Fear of punishment or judgment from a higher power encourages followers to stick closely to their rules. This can stop them from exploring new ideas, even when learning more could help them understand better and reduce their fear. Unfortunately, these beliefs perpetuate exclusionary attitudes amongst adherents, which creates intolerance toward those who hold differing beliefs. Fear of other can lead to the justification of violence or discrimination, as individuals or groups may feel threatened by the existence or practices of others. This can create a cycle of hostility and mistrust that undermines the fundamental teachings of compassion that many religions espouse. On a personal level, the fear induced by religious beliefs can lead individuals to suppress any thoughts, emotions, or desires that may clash with their faith, effectively putting up barriers to the realm of their possibilities and limiting their growth. This internal conflict can result in anxiety, guilt, or a crisis of identity. When we understand how fear is utilized within various faiths to keep their adherents in check and learn to break free from it, it can lead to open inquiries and a more compassionate approach to how we view differing perspectives. Confronting these fears can lead to liberation and independence of thought. Now critically examine the rules in your faith that stops you from reading broadly, learning new things, or talking about topics seen as taboo. Think about how these rules might be feeding your fears and ways you can overcome them. With all we have learned so far, take a moment to honestly reflect on these prompts. Feel free to pause the video and be intentional with your response. Have you overcome fears in the past? What strategies did you use? What resources or tools are available to help you? Consider books, workshops, or online materials that can aid. What are your likely outcomes if you do not take action to manage your fears? As discussed earlier, fear often arises from the unknown or from experiences that bring on a sense of uncertainty. By empowering ourselves with knowledge and skills, education can transform this uncertainty into understanding and anxiety into reason. One of the primary ways education eliminates fear is by providing information. Simply put, knowledge reduces ambiguity. This helps us understand unfamiliar ideas and problems more easily. For example, in healthcare, teaching people about diseases, treatments, and how to prevent illness can reduce fear. When people know how their bodies work and the risks of certain choices, they can make better decisions to stay healthy and feel less worried about getting sick. Education can be used to enhance our critical thinking skills, which enables us to analyze situations more effectively. When faced with decisions or challenges, educated individuals tend to be more rational in how they evaluate their options. Rather than viewing problems as insurmountable obstacles, they tend to see them as solvable issues. In a workplace, employees trained to think clearly tackle problems with a positive attitude. This confidence lowers fear of failure, creating a healthier environment where new ideas can grow because people are less afraid to make mistakes. The greater the exposure we gain to various scenarios, ideas, and perspectives, the more we learn to embrace failure as a part of our learning process rather than being paralyzed by it. This helps us build resilience. Building resilience is particularly important in our formative years, where students encounter diverse challenges that teach them how to persevere. Exposure to a broad range of topics makes resilience a standard for educated individuals, allowing them the ability to navigate unknowns or new concepts with greater ease and less fear. Knowledge also promotes social awareness and empathy, which can help us understand and appreciate the experiences of others. This understanding can reduce fears that stem from stereotypes or misconceptions about different cultures, communities, or ideologies. Through education, we can engage with diverse perspectives, which creates a more inclusive outlook and reduces fears that stem from division or ignorance. In societies where empathy is nurtured, the collective fear of the other reduces, leading to more progressive communities. Finally, education provides us with the tools to advocate for ourselves and teaches us to make informed choices. This empowerment reduces fear associated with dependency, whether on institutions such as religious bodies, authority figures, or social systems. When we feel confident in our ability to navigate various aspects of life, from financial literacy to gender to legal rights, fear of exploitation or vulnerability decreases significantly. This sense of agency leads to a proactive approach to life, so don't be afraid to read wide, ask questions, and seek answers when there are concepts you do not understand. Overcoming our fears can be viewed as a way to build courage. It will involve approaching it in several ways, including but not limited to the following: self-awareness. This involves recognizing the specific fears we have and taking the time to identify the source, like past experiences, societal pressures, or our own doubts. Journaling helps by allowing us articulate our fears. Writing down thoughts and feelings can provide clarity, making the fears seem less daunting. Cognitive restructuring. This process means changing negative thoughts linked to fear. For example, if you fear public speaking and think, "I will embarrass myself," can cause anxiety. By changing this to "everyone makes mistakes and I can learn," we feel less afraid. Practices like positive affirmations help build a better attitude. Practical strategies. Gradual exposure to our fears can desensitize us over time. For example, a person afraid of socializing can start by talking briefly to acquaintances and slowly have longer talks. This step-by-step method, called systematic desensitization, builds confidence and lowers anxiety. Cultivate a growth mindset. We can change how we view things that are unfamiliar to us. Seeing uncertainty as a chance for new experiences and adventures helps us think differently about the unknown. Adopting mindfulness practices can help us think clearly and respond calmly. It keeps us focused on the present, preventing anxiety about the future from dominating our thoughts. Building a supportive environment where sharing fears and uncertainties is encouraged, this can help mitigate feelings of isolation associated with the fear of the unknown. Don't feel ashamed or shame others for expressing their fears. Having open conversations can lead to shared experiences and collective problem solving. This entails sharing and acquiring knowledge on concepts we were previously unfamiliar with, which helps us gain a better understanding of what was a foreign concept to us. Stop avoidance tactics. Rather than avoiding and hating concepts we do not understand, acknowledge and address them. This is an integral part of personal development. It allows us to venture beyond our comfort zones and embrace the different possibilities that exist in life. In conclusion, viewing fear as an opportunity rather than an obstacle helps with our personal growth. With intentional approach, we can change it from something that stops us from exploring the world around us into something we control that allows us lead more fulfilling lives. Set clear, achievable goals. Take one step at a time. For example, if you're scared to start a new job, first update your resume, talk to people, or practice interviews before applying. Seek support from others. Sharing fears with trusted friends, family, or support groups can bring comfort and fresh perspectives. Many realize their fears are common, which lessens feeling alone. Professional help like therapy offers expert ways to handle fears. Be patient with yourself. Overcoming fear is rarely a straight path. Setbacks are bound to happen, so patience is key. Celebrate small wins to boost your confidence. Thank you for learning with us. You can find the full guide on our website, www.thereflectivehuman.com, that allows you to go through the reflective process at your own pace. Have a journal handy to answer additional reflective prompts. This will help you track your growth and progress over time. It also contains further reading materials and book recommendations that will help enhance your reflective thinking journey. Links are also provided in the description box. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, and add your comments below. Join us next time as we discuss other topics in our quest to build a community of critical thinkers and practical problem solvers. In the meantime, strive to remain curious, recognizing that our understanding of the world is constantly evolving. See you then.